See, in the real world, women can't be anything, and that's one of the messages of the film. In the real world, men run pretty much everything, which is weird. Who greenlit this piece of shit? I mean, Greta Gerwig is a lady. She's making a good living off of this. Margot Robbie is playing the lead. In fact, the entire cast, aside from basically Ryan Gosling, is women. So it seems like women are doing okay. But again, put aside the...
But do you mean you can't critique a structural problem unless that structural problem is 100% represented and solved within the confines of the dynamic of the film you're making? That seems weird. Barbie.
What's up, Ethan Gamers? It's Otis. Back with the box office breakdown for this past weekend, which saw Barbenheimer completely destroy the box office. Both Barbie and Oppenheimer together combined for the best opening weekend of the entire summer of the entire.
So go woke, make money. I know it doesn't rhyme. It's not as fun, but we're gonna start doing that, right?
Year at this point. So it has been very, very impressive. The Barbenheimer meme completely showing its power and its influence. Many people reporting how there were people dressed in nothing but pink in their Oppenheimer Screams, which I'm sure the older people in the older demographic, that is much more. But again, we'll talk about that in just 60 million. Warner's isn't a studio to get over.
Yeah, if you didn't hear, Barbie was a smashing success. It's already blasted past its $150 million budget slash marketing budget. So now internationally, it's turned into cool ass profit, and it's going to continue to do so. I believe it's one of the largest opening weekend films ever for a movie directed by a woman. It's one of the largest opening weekends of this year. It's one of the largest film premieres of the last little while. When you look at the numbers, this could be a very good time for the woke ass nightmare that is Barbie and all things about it. I'm sure you've all heard that Ben Shapiro is taking it upon himself to get real mad about this. You know what? Let's start with freestyle.
Freestyle the news. Have a good time. Yeah. Barbieheimer, I've been climbing like a spider when she call me tiger. Y'all been scabbing motherfuckers like you callin' Iger. They don't want it fucking freer, they just want it whiter. Like it's Hunter Biden. Holy shit, y'all got your theories off of independent thinkers who've been writing shit on Twitter cause they can't break into fiction. Y'all been fucking with the districts, you ain't changing shit they listed. I've been sensing patterns, God forbid you teach them about that history. Oh my god, coming out the woods they say you missing, but it's looking mad suspicious, Mrs. Russell. We was listening to your story and it doesn't really add up like you say it when you searching how to rob and pay for Amber's next to taken. Get forsaken, this a breakup just like Wagner next to Putin. First they blocking out the news and then they probably get to shooting. Catch me looking really stupid till those tips are looking huge with all the ice cream like I'm Pinky Dog. I'll probably give them music. Catch you can.
Apparently she milkshake ducked. Someone said that she did something really bad recently, like she may have gone to do a scab position in an acting role and been proud of it as well. Which kind of sucks because everyone was all excited. You know, we were all thinking about doing our own streams. I was going to do my own TikTok live stream where, you know, if you give certain emotes, you'll get certain things, you know, like gang gang, yum, ice cream so good, yes yes yes. But apparently she scabbed. So yeah, that sucks. We were just starting to get a new hero.
2024, I don't like the pace, I ain't looking sure. Man, this AI shit been blurry, ain't nobody really clear. Why the fuck you pledging taxes to investigating beer? Fucking Barbieheimer, I've been climbing like a spider when she call me tiger. Y'all been scabbing motherfuckers like you callin' Iger. They don't want it fucking freer, they just want it whiter. Like it's Hunter Biden. I said Barbieheimer, drop your exes off of Netflix, get some new subscribers. Y'all been talking shit, I strike you like a union driver. Taking losses, motherfucker, better check the timing. Shit, I'm going live and cash flow looking bad, bro, like a pastor who done gamble. What you gave him, fucking Megan, looking crazy. RFK shit, now she pro-Trump, looking mad sus, like you add them up on no jump. And you mad about who your wife fuck, watch you flipping off every bang bus in the wrong state. Phoenix burning in a heat wave. TikTok is trying to imitate like a deep fake. Watching Aiden out here trying to tell Jake that he learned to put away his own stinkers. Every time he tried to have it his way, yo, we saute. You saute? What? Barbieheimer. I've been climbing like a spider when she call me tiger. Y'all been scabbing motherfucker like you callin' Iger. They don't want it fucking freer, they just want it whiter. Like it's Hunter Biden. All I wanna do is get a haircut, and I can't get a haircut because I have been busy working on this Evo album every single day. Hey, thank you guys so much for...
Everyone, go support Zed. Really good music. Almost at 100,000 subscribers. Help get Zed over the last obstacle that remains.
Back from the theaters seeing Barbie.
Oh, God.
I'm about to review both of them. I'm going to tell you which one of these is the best blockbuster of 2023 and which one is maybe the worst.
I bet he loved our movie, right, Ken?
For those of you who can't wait that long, I'm going to give my review of the Barbie movie in the most Oppenheimer fashion.
What the Run.
So
It's 42 minutes long. 42 minutes long.
the things I do for my audience, my producers dragged me to go see.
Ben, you don't have to lie. I mean, you're dressed like Ken here, and you're dressed like Ken as well. Two different Ken costumes. Two different separate Ken costumes you have now worn. Come on. This is intentional. It's okay. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to enjoy a little something every now and then. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit woke. You know? You're gonna be okay.
Barbie movie, Barbie the movie, and I have thoughts. This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Oh, God.
Let me begin with my generalized assessment of the movie. This movie is not just a piece of shit. This movie is a flaming piece of dog shit piled atop an entire dumpster on fire, piled atop a landfill filled with dog shit. It is one of the worst.
Whoa. Yeah, he's like just as edgy as what's that guy? The angry video game nerd. You know? No, this is like donkey diarrhea on top of a chimpanzee's ass as the diarrhea comes out of a rhinoceros, and then I have to eat the diarrhea as the diarrhea goes on into a tiger, and that turns into fucking monkey diarrhea, which turns into a fucking gerbil diarrhea. You're like, oh. This is entertainment. This is what we used to watch. You know? This was it. Yeah, cool. Cool stuff. How many videos are there? How many angry video game nerd videos? Oh, there's a lot. Oh, yeah. Well, I got a new character, the diarrhea pickle. It's about diarrhea, and it talks about everything is dumpster diarrhea shit. I'm spewing diarrhea fart.
Movies I've ever seen. On every possible level, it is a horrific movie. The only thing that can be said for this film is production design. The production design is really nice. The costumes are really nice. Also, it's really hard to screw that up. It's really hard to screw that up because you literally have this to model after. All you have to do is this, but big, okay? It's really not tough. But put aside all of the beautiful costumes, which is there for the ladies, and all of the production design and the Barbie universe and all of that.
I feel there's a great awakening transpiring, you know? Especially amongst men. They're starting to become more comfortable with who they are. I happen to contend that there's going to be a whole bunch of changes that we'll see rapid fire. Maybe the Barbie movie is just the beginning of something very splendid. Who knows?
Every joke that happens in this film happens basically within the first 45 seconds of the film. So, for example, Barbie turns on the water and there's no water. Ooh, because, you know, like in Barbie house, there's no actual water. Do you get it? And then she drinks, but there's no actual liquid in the actual cup. Oh my.
Are you looking at the producer? You're flipping between looking at the camera and then looking at something behind the camera. Is that just to be like
God, because she's a Barbie doll. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's all the jokes. There are no more jokes for the rest of the film. The movie's a shit show. Okay, so conceptually, the movie is a shit show. I want to ask this. Who's the intended audience for this film? Who's the intended audience for this film? So I'll tell you who the intended audience for this film is, and I can tell two ways. One,
turns out lots of people, but just smashing all these box office records. It's a massive hit internationally. People are loving it. So I would say probably the answer is lots of different people.
Previews on the film, and two, the people in the audience. So the intended audience for this film is moms and their 8-year-old daughters. That's the intended audience for the film. I know because the previews for the film were all kids movies. I'm talking like G or PG rated kids films. We're talking like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Trolls 4 or whatever it is. Those were all the previews, right? All the previews are actually directed at what the audience is supposed to be for this film. And if you look in the audience, it's a bunch of moms, like youngish moms, middle-aged moms with their like
Can you imagine like seeing a Ben Shapiro run to the front of the theater and turn around and just be like, well, what do we got here? Okay, we got a whole bunch of mums and middle-aged mums and some young daughters there. Yes, seeing some young daughters as well. Yeah.
6, 7, 8-year-old girls. That's the entire crew. This movie is not made for any of those people. In fact, this movie is made for no one. This movie is going to make a bunch of money week one because the marketing effort has been extraordinary. I mean, whoever's the marketing team over at Warner Brothers is doing an amazing job. Week one, this thing is going to clean up at the domestic box office. My prediction is going to just absolutely fall off a cliff after that. The repeat business on this movie is going to be non-existent because it was written by two people who are so smug and self-satisfied, and Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, that they have no audience. I mean, like, who thought it's a great idea? Let's bring on.
Wow. I wonder how accurate this is going to be. I mean, these are very, very strong statements, you know, especially at a time when at the first part is coming true, depending on when he filmed this versus when it came out. I think the writing was kind of on the wall. And at this point, it's like, oh, well, this is actually pretty impressive, the numbers that it's drawing.
On the people who wrote Lady Bird and Marriage Story to make a movie about a plastic doll that is generally played with by 5 to 9-year-old young girls. So the basic idea of the film, they really have no basic idea of the film. They don't know whether they hate Barbie or that we're supposed to kind of like Barbie. It seems they kind of despise Barbie as a fascist emblem, as we'll get to.
Whoa, a fascist emblem. I didn't know it was that hardcore. Greta Gerwig makes history as Barbie has biggest opening weekend for film directed by a woman. Barbie has made $377 million, while Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer took home $174 million, making Barbenheimer the biggest office weekend of 2023 so far. Greta Gerwig has made history as Barbie scored $377 million opening weekend around the world, making it the biggest debut ever for a film directed by a woman. At the North American box office, combined US and Canada, Barbie claimed the top spot with a massive $155 million in ticket sales from 4,243 locations, surpassing the Super Mario Brothers movie and every Marvel film released this year to become the biggest opening of the year. The biggest fucking opening of the year. It beat the Super Mario Brothers movie. Every Marvel film. Wow. It's kind of like, you know, go fucking hell. Rich as hell. Wow. All right. The social media fueled fusion of Gerwig's Barbie and Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer's Barbenheimer brought moviegoers back to theaters in record numbers to see both films as a double feature. Oppenheimer also soared past expectations, taking in $80.5 million from 3,610 theaters in the US, in Canada, and making it Nolan's biggest non-Batman debut and one of the best ever starts for an R-rated biographical drama. It was also the first time the one movie opened to more than $100 million and another movie opened to more than $80 million in the same weekend. When all is settled on Monday US time, it will probably turn out to be the fourth biggest box office weekend of all time in more than $300 million industry-wide. But wow, oof. I don't know. I feel like Ben may have bet on a really wrong horse here. You know, seems like, yeah, I'm not saying that his anger and fixation, if you will, and costume changes aren't justified and valid. They're very valid, okay? And him wanting to see it a couple more times just to make sure how like truly insidious and woke this film is, we gotta let him have it. But I think it might turn out to be that this is actually a pretty successful film, because it's already a pretty successful film by all metrics. Internationally, Barbie earned $182 million in 69 territories, fueling a $337 million global weekend. Oppenheimer did $93.7 in 78 territories and managing to surpass Barbie in India for $174.2 million global total. In the UK, Cinema Chain View said the fifth of customers saw both films at a double bill this weekend, which was the biggest UK cinema ticket sales since COVID. Barbenheimer affected ticket sales for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, I guess, which was the big loser of the weekend. That's too bad.
The basic sort of premise of the film, politically speaking,
it's kind of like the quartering. He's just always wrong. Yeah, that's true. He is wrong about most things.
is that men and women are on two sides of the divide, and they hate each other. And literally the only way you can have a happy world is if the women ignore the men and the men ignore the women. That seems to be the final outcome of this film. I was trying to separate this into problems with plot and problems with character and problems with the politics of the film, but they're all intertwined because the thing is just a mess. It doesn't make any sense. Plot-wise, it makes no sense. Character-wise, it makes no sense. So let's just go through it from the beginning. Okay, there's gonna be lots of spoilers, but believe you me, I'm about to save you so much time because this movie is 2 hours. It feels like it is longer than the Wagnerian ring cycle. It does not end. Every scene is at least.
Did you like write that one down? I bet you wrote that one down first. Yeah, I don't think that's improv. I don't think you thought of that off the cuff. And even though you did, it's like, it's still not great. But that feels like, okay, we gotta nail this metaphor thing.
2 minutes too long. Every single scene, every beat is 2 minutes too long. It is a bad film. Put aside the politics, like really, I was sitting there with a bunch of my producers. I'm a little bit more political than my producers. My producers were watching this, putting the politics aside. It is a bad movie. So why is it getting 91% on Rotten Tomatoes? Because the way that it works for the reviewers is if you have the right politics, and those politics are sufficiently slyly inserted, then it will get a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, even if the thing is just dreck. And I mean, boy, is this dreck. This is a Death Star-sized piece of dreck. It is like...
He has been speaking longer, I think, in this review about like things he wants to compare it to or how bad it is than he has any substantial like criticism of the film.
Like, that's no moon.
Dreck.
That's a dreck station.
Dreck.
That is that.
It's so dreck. Lots of dreck. But when you think of it, think of like Star Wars, but then like instead of the Death Star, the Dreck Star. Yeah, it's fucking dreck.
At this movie. Okay, so let's jump into it. I have like pages.
Yeah, I don't wanna have all the spoilers. I don't want any, in fact, so I'm just gonna slow them down for a little bit.
And pages of notes on this horrific piece of... I mean, my goodness. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. So it's from the beginning, you know what this movie is going to be, and it's going to be a very cynical take on what Barbie is, which is so weird. I don't know why Mattel would turn over its IP to filmmakers who clearly hate the IP. It's as though you were going to make Toy Story, except that toys are all evil. They're all bad, and you're supposed to hate them, and you should burn them. Because that's kind of the message of the film, is that the Barbies are bad for the world. Okay, so it begins.
Okay, so we can't do this. It's going to take like 80 minutes to get through. We'll do 175.
By trying to uphold the original vision of Barbie. What was the original magical vision of Barbie? We have Helen Mirren here to tell us in the form of a narrator apparently played by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's speaking from heaven. And we get a 2001 A Space Odyssey flashback. Which again, who's the audience for this? Like the reference points in this film, it references variously Marcel Proust, it references Robert Evans and the cinematography of The Godfather, it references 2001 A Space Odyssey. This is a movie made for moms and their 7-year-old girls.
So I saw a pretty interesting film analysis of the way that Barbie was marketed, and what was actually particularly brilliant about it is that there's already an ingrown or an established base of fans who are going to want to see Barbie and who are wanting who would care about a property involving Barbie of this nature, like a feature film, centered around the franchise itself. So that being said, what does Barbie not appeal to? And that would be a demographic of men, especially young men, who may be more preoccupied with films concerning, some classics like Fight Club, for sure, The Big Lebowski, those kind of films where they're going to be like, hey, these are what I consider to be really, really good movies. You got to check them out. That falls into that category. Those same people who may think that Stanley Kubrick is one of the greatest, and I fall into this camp, one of the greatest film directors of all time. He certainly is. He is certainly a goat in that respect. They're suddenly going to wonder, why is this ad containing 2001 A Space Odyssey as a reference out of nowhere, especially from an advertiser perspective, and then that going viral for that purpose. So Ben didn't pick up on any of that, obviously, and just thinks like, well, who is this supposed to be for? It doesn't make any sense. You gotta get these references for different demographics. It's dreck. It's so drecky. It's a dreck star.
Well, folks, wasting 2 hours of my precious time, 2 hours I will never get back. 2 hours on my deathbed, I will wish that I had not spent that time doing. It makes me viscerally angry. But I'm going to talk to you about something, and she fails for 2 reasons. 1, she's actually a tool of the patriarchal capitalist system. And 2, the real world has rejected the message of Barbie, which is that women should run everything. Okay, so this is all not implicit. This is explicitly said. At the beginning, the monologue, you have Helen Mirren saying, because Barbie can be anything, women can be anything. At least that's what the Barbies think.
He wrote this shit down. He actually wrote this shit down.
Okay, so this is all not implicit. This is explicitly said. At the beginning, the monologue, you have Helen Mirren saying, because Barbie can be anything, women can be anything. At least that's what the Barbies think. See, in the real world, women can't be anything. And that's one of the messages of the film. In the real world, men run pretty much everything, which is weird. Who greenlit this piece of shit? I mean, Greta Gerwig is a lady. She's making a good living off of this. Margot Robbie is playing the lead. In fact, the entire cast, aside from basically Ryan Gosling, is women. So it seems like women are doing okay. But again, put aside the...
But do you mean you can't critique a structural problem unless that structural problem is 100% represented and solved within the confines of the dynamic of the film you're making? That seems That seems weird. Seems very like, why is it that all of a sudden, well, apparently a woman directed a movie. Well, yeah, a woman not only directed a movie, this film is actually, in terms of box office, the most successful film ever directed by a woman ever. It's pretty wild. It's just a massive, massive hit, again, internationally.
Meta logic of it. I'm going to go through like a lot of beats here. So it starts off with the idea that mommy dolls are bad and insufficient. But then they criticize Mattel for discontinuing a mommy doll named Midge. Right? Midge is the pregnant doll and it was discontinued. They're like, that's bad. But hold on, you just said that.
Okay, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want to see spoilers for Barbie or Oppenheimer. I haven't seen either yet. I just wanted to laugh at the extent to which all the conservatives are still flipping out at this. And I can't believe that he dedicated like a 42-minute segment to this.
The most asked question weekend was, did you see Barbenheimer? This, of course, refers to the double weekend premiere event that saw both Barbie and Oppenheimer hit theaters last Friday. Combined, the movies did get, they raked in $220 million in weekend ticket sales.
I have to say thank you. I had the same dilemma.
North
Yeah,
America.
no worries.
Not everyone enjoyed both movies. However, Ben Shapiro, the conservative TV host, had this reaction to the movies.
Well, folks, I just got back from the theaters seeing Barbie and Oppenheimer. I'm about to review both of them. I'm going to tell you which one of these is the best blockbuster of 2023.
He doesn't even review Oppenheimer. It's only Barbie for the full 42 minutes. Of course it is.
And which one?
Yes, I liked Barbie better than Ben Shapiro, at least. Maybe that won't surprise anyone. I didn't know that I would necessarily like it, but I thought it was. So I saw them both this weekend. I did Barbenheimer with my wife and a group of friends. I did a sort of Oppenheimer-inspired dark black jacket
That's
vest
also
thing.
what Ken wears, Robbie.
I was
Ken
going for
also
Oppenheimer,
wears
not
all
Ken. but-
black.
Does he?
You got tricked.
Well, in the movie he wears a lot of.
Your wife is very smart. She got you in the Ken outfit without you knowing.
I don't know if that's what she was going for. Anyway, I thought Barbie was decent. It was, and what.
Ben Shapiro burns Barbie dolls in protest of woke movie. Again, this is kind of the same thing with like Michael Knowles getting really mad about the Olympic, sorry, not even Olympics, it's just the women's soccer team not properly saluting the flag. It's like, hey, here's the thing you get to be mad about today. Here's the distraction. You know, get ready, everybody. Here it is. The curtain rises. Today you get to be mad about how Barbie is woke indoctrination. Yeah, anything other than criticizing your bosses or, you know, systemic problems or structural problems or corrupt politicians or anything like that. Just, here it is. Here's the thing to get mad at.
I didn't see it yet.
Here's the culture war.
I think it's interesting that so many conservative male commentators are just like, this is the worst movie ever, which is a very, like, funny reaction because they're embodying the exact comical reaction that was commentary literally on guys like Ben Shapiro of them saying like, oh, it's so ridiculous that Ken wants, you know, equal rights. It seems to me that they're literally exemplifying why this movie is such poignant commentary on gender roles in our society. I do take issue with the fact that Barbie has to be a CEO, lawyer, president, doctor, baker, and all Oppenheimer has to be is a guy who killed a bunch of people for similar
spicy.
But Barbie did make more money. $155 million for Barbie, 80.5 for Oppenheimer.
Jessica's on the Hill now? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, Jessica's been on the Hill for a while.
I think some people are upset about that.
Well, I certainly see why Barbie maybe appeals to more people. Oppenheimer is a very heavy film, so I liked it a lot.
Also 3 hours.
Yes, it was long. It was long. I recommend if you're going to see them, I actually do recommend seeing Barbie first because after you see Oppenheimer, you don't want to see another movie. You want to just kind of like contemplate, you know, man stealing fire from the gods or something. It was a very good movie. Christopher Nolan obviously made the movie. It has Cillian Murphy playing J. Robert Oppenheimer, the creator of atomic weaponry in America. Cillian Murphy is an actor who's appeared in a lot of other Christopher Nolan projects, often in kind of side roles or interesting villain roles. He's the Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy. He's a fantastic actor. A lot of people know him from Peaky Blinders.
Oh my god, this is like the most surface level review of a movie I've ever heard. Here's another thing that they were in.
Again, like understand what the dialogue is, which Christopher Nolan has kind of indicated he likes. Like he wants the film to be an experience, to like you to feel the vibrations of the sound or something, which does happen in Oppenheimer. I mean, it makes more sense in Oppenheimer because it's about the development
3 hours, the second crime of the movie.
of this all-powerful, awe-inspiring
that
weapon
face,
of mass
that Cillian
death
Murphy
and
face.
destruction. There's a lot of time jumps in Oppenheimer that I'm not sure were totally necessary, and it's long and does a lot, but it is very, very good. Some really terrific performances. But you're saying
prospect.
you think it's glorifying violence or something. Is that what that comment was geared toward?
Maybe a little. I'm scared of the fact that you said he wants people in the theater to really experience the movie.
Not to experience
That's a little frightening,
radiation.
Rob.
Well, no. So there are a lot of scenes of Oppenheimer contemplating the kind of horror they've unleashed. He has a lot of flashes of seeing people suffering radiation and scarring and burning and alive. It speaks to, I think, in a historically accurate way, after the bombing of Japan, Oppenheimer's subsequent turn toward his unwillingness to be involved in the hydrogen project to develop even more powerful bombs, his attempts to persuade policymakers to work toward international cooperation to restrict how many weapons are out there. But yes, he is very. In the Los Alamos project development of the weapon, he is very in favor of developing it, and other scientists have some reservations, and he, allows them to be raised, but says it's so important that either America's going to develop these weapons first, or Nazi Germany is, so we should not have any qualms about going forward. His role in helping to select the targets in Japan is explored. The movie also goes into, which I didn't know as much about this aspect of Oppenheimer, that he had much earlier in his career, he did have left Communist Party ties, that his brother, his wife were actually members of the Communist Party in America. They sent money to people fighting in Spain. And he's very clearly interested in left ideas.
Save your money, go watch Sean's video. Sean's video is very, very good for sure. I want to see Jessica's response to this though. She's if you don't know Jessica, by the way, she does a lot of really great TikTok videos and does a really good job of explaining some of the more complex financial issues from a far left perspective.
And then becomes less and less interested in them, and that's very interesting.
Yes, he was just focused on his work of creating the bomb. Didn't have much time for reading Marx after that. I think it's good that culturally you have this film where for 3 hours, many Americans are going to sit and consider the morality of war. I think that's a useful cultural exercise. And so I think it's a good film because not everyone is going to go out and read Just and Unjust Wars by Michael Walzer. Instead, they will watch Oppenheimer and think it through for themselves. That's good. I will say, to take a step back from the content of the films and talk about the movie industry as a whole right now, people seem to want fresh content. They don't want the next live action of a cartoon movie we've already seen. They don't want more, continuations of Star Wars movies produced by Disney. I just don't want them produced by Kathleen Kennedy because she's ruined it. I would love new Star Wars movies if someone who knows what they're doing could, write the stories for them. But
isn't that what Barbie is, though?
I think it shows that people just want the new stuff. They don't want the same stuff done by people who maybe do it worse than the people who used to do it. And at a time when you have actors and writers on strike, and these movies making so much money, and all of the folks, Margot Robbie, the entire cast of Oppenheimer, supporting the SAG and the writers' strike, I think that's huge in the greater conversation we're having around AI writing films, who does the labor to produce the films, who makes the good work. You need the talent in order to make the money off of the movie. Without the talent, there is no movie. And so I think it's an interesting moment where folks who have taken our streaming and our media in a really bad direction, where you have folks, AI images being used without their permission for, the rest of their lives. You have promotions for New Girl. You just had the main actor who plays the guy Nick, whose name I don't know, Jake something. He posted about an AI image created of himself to promote New Girl that he didn't consent for. So there's all of these questions surrounding the Barbenheimer release. I think the film's doing so well adds more weight to that movement.
Yeah, although a lot of this whole kind of Barbenheimer promotion is ground up, right? It was not cooked up by any public relations department. It was social media took this and ran with it, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, I've said, as for the strike, there's so much content right now on streaming services that I haven't had time, and I have to imagine I watch a lot of television. I'm not sure I would notice that there's no new stuff for like 2 years if they go, because there's so much content I want to catch up on. There are old things I want to watch again, and there are new things I would love to watch that I just don't.
I feel, having watched this whole video, that I've gained nothing. I just mean in terms of like any kind of metric you use to quantify what you in somehow are enhanced by in your human experience of absorbing media. This one I was like, I don't feel changed in any way, bettered anyway.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback, because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
Thank you kindly to our Lord and Saviors Peyton L. Just and Xander Corvus. Without you, we are nothing. And now, a shout out to our Knights of the Square Table. Amazing Flesh, Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, DM Rivera, Doug Cady, Everything Important, Hegbard Celine, Izzy Solidarity, La Media Panza, Matthew Scarborough, Multimondi, Nettle, Omni, Peanut Butter Blonde, Political Papi, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Kubi, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Dimmel, Thomas, Trevbot EXE, Lucidry, Words Greenwood, Cheryl Alvarez, Tony Perkins, Thomas, O'Pecker, Travis McClinton, and Victoria Bell. Thank you so much. And a huge shout out to all the other people who make this entire show possible. Without you, it would not exist. If you can support us, please go to patreon.com/theserfs, and even $1 can help unlock all of the little goodies and help make this show entirely possible.